Now we're going to learn how to solve a right triangle. When something asks you to solve a triangle, what that means is that you're going to find all the sides and all the angles in the triangle, not just the one that they ask you for that's labeled with a variable. So what I did is I went through with these three triangles and I wrote the things that were missing. So ideally, we can use some shortcuts to make things easier, but if you want and you're really comfortable with Trig, you can just use Trig 3 times to find the missing pieces, but I'll share with you a couple shortcuts. So in the first one, when we have three sides of a triangle, two sides of the triangle, you can find the third side by using the Pythagorean theorem, which was a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So the two sides I have are legs, so that means I can do 12 squared plus 17 squared equals c squared. 12 squared is 144. 17 squared is 289. Then we're going to add those together, which is 433. And then we're going to do the square root of both sides. Which is 20.8, approximately. So we found our first side. Now, if all I know in a right triangle is the right angle, then I'm going to need to use Trig to find one of the angles. So I wrote P first, so we're going to label P. And now since I want to use Trig, my first step is to label H, O, A from angle P. Now if I had started with angle N, my O and A would be switching sides. So I have numbers at O and A, which means I'm going to use tangent. So tangent of angle P equals O over A. I don't know what my angle is, so tangent P equals O is 17 over A is 12. So I'm going to do inverse tangent of 17 over 12 will give me angle P. Make sure that your calculator is in degrees, inverse tangent, and remember we don't need to get the decimal for 17 over 12, just type that in. And as I say to remind yourself you're in degrees, I'm in radians, so 54.8 degrees. I don't think I left enough space right here. There we go. That's a degree, not a 6. Okay, so now let's talk about if I know two angles in a triangle. If you know two angles in a triangle, what's our shortcut? Well, we know that the angles in a triangle add to 180. So I can do 90 degrees plus 54.8 and subtract that from 180. So 90 plus 54.8 plus angle N equals 180. So we add and subtract from 180. And when you do a lot of these problems, what you're going to notice is that we're dealing with right triangles. So I'm always going to have that 90-degree angle. And so I could actually be always subtracting the acute angle I have from 90 degrees because the other 90 degrees is always accounted for. Okay, so I got 144.8 and then I subtracted that from 180 and I get 35.2 degrees. And we have solved our first triangle. All right, 35.2 degrees. Sorry, my degree symbols are just the ugliest thing ever. I think you'll forgive me. All right, so what's different with the next one is that I have an angle and a side. But I'm actually going to start with the angle here because I already have two angles in the triangle. So I have 90 plus 50 plus angle V equals 180. And when I add those, I get 140, and 180 minus 140 gives me 40 degrees. So there's my angle, and now I need to find the two sides. Now we're going to find our HOA from my original angle. So HOA, and I'm going to try to find MD first, which means I'm going to use A, and I have information at O, so I'm going to use tangent. So tangent theta equals O over A. Tangent of 50 degrees equals 21 over A. So then I'm going to find tangent of 50 on my calculator. 1.192A equals 21, and divide by 1.192 on both sides. So my adjacent side will be 17.6. And then if I want to find VD, that's asking for my hypotenuse. I always go back to my original information. So my original information was at the opposite sides, so I'm going to use O and H, which means it's sine. Sine theta equals O over H. So sine of 50 is 21 over H. Sine of 50 degrees is 0.766 equals 21 over H. So multiply by H and divide by 0.766. 21 divided by 0.766 is 27.4. The other way that you could have done this is once I had MD of 17.6, I could have done 17.6 squared plus the side I was given, 21 squared, equals my hypotenuse squared. I could have used Pythagorean theorem. And in fact, I get exactly the same answer, that my hypotenuse equals 27.4. So I still get 27.4 for side VD if I use it that way. And let's look at our last one. So the same thing, it's easy on this one to find the angle. So we could do 70 plus 90 plus angle U equals 180. And when I solve that, I get that angle U is equal to 20 degrees. Alright, once again, I'm going to do trig with everything. So first thing when we're doing trig is label your HOA, H-O-A. And I'm starting with TS, so I'm going to do A, and I have a number at H, so A and H is going to be cosine. Cosine theta equals A over H. So cosine of 70 degrees equals A is what I don't know, over H is 15. Look up cosine 70 in your calculator. We get 0.342 equals A over 15. And then we're going to multiply by 15 on both sides. 0.342 times 15. 5.1. And that was side TS. And now I'm going to do the same thing for VT, so that I still have H, and now I want to solve for O. O and H is sine, so sine theta equals O over H. And once again, you could do Pythagorean theorem if you want. Sine of 70 degrees equals O is what I need, over 15. So sine of 70 is 0.9 4 once we round. 0 over 15. Multiply by 15 on both sides. So we should get almost 14. Let's see how close I was. 0.94. So 14. Ah, perfect. 14.1. So to solve a triangle, you find all the sides and angles.